Morning. So, the power of networking. I'll tell you one thing. I'm a multitasker. I've landed at 3 a.m. this morning. I talked to my 16-year-old son. I still congratulate my husband every year for being married to me one more year. I thank my staff every day for putting up with me. I can do it all. But right now, what I'm most nervous about is to manage my sari, this, and I hope I can actually advance the slides. So let me put it out right there. So if there's some mess up, it's mine, not the technologist. Okay, I did it right. So I just wanted to start with what matters. Now, to say this, I would tell you a little bit about what happened when I first decided to come back to India. I left India in 1983 and I told my dad, I'll never come back to this place. I don't like the way I'm treated. It's like people keep saying, you're a woman, you laugh too loud, you walk too fast, you sit like this, you stand like this. I am tired. And the final straw for me was I went to an interview. I cleared every level. I went to the final interview, and three men sitting there asked me, what is the guarantee you will not get married and leave this job? And that upset me so much that I asked him, do you ask every guy who walks in the same question? And I walked out and I went home and I packed my bags and left for America. I said, I'm never coming back. And I went to America, Portland, Oregon, 92% white people. I land up there and I am queen. They all wanted to look like me. They said, where do you get a tan like this? And I said, it's generations of hard work. So it didn't come easily to me. And they all said, wow, you speak really good English. And I was like, oh yeah, you too. and uh, and I realized for the first time that my difference is my strength. The fact that I was short meant I could travel anywhere in comfort. Any seat you throw me in a plane, I'm fine. The fact that I'm brown means I don't wrinkle easily, and everybody thinks I look beautiful in Oregon. And the fact that I was the only woman in an entire group of people in one of the most technologically advanced company meant that I can say anything and they had to listen to me. Because otherwise they say, you're not listening to me. And I've learned one thing is that when you're in a room full of people who are so different from you, it can either intimidate you or you think you look like them also. So when I'm in a room full of models, I think I look like them. So I feel beautiful. When I'm in a room full of techie people, I think I'm one of those. So I get smart. So the question is, it's not about what matters is not about who you are. What matters is how you handle yourself. And that I learned. And that I learned when I first decided to come back to India. I was in US for a long time, and one of the things that really upset me was the stories of India that are told outside India. It's like an elephant and a blind man. Somebody says it's thin and long, somebody says stout and round, somebody says whatever. It's like the poor country. They have tigers, they have bright burning, they have this, they have that. But I'm like, my God, we are not talking about the innovation that happens here. We are not talking about the amazing ththings that happen here. Okay, now there is a camera. There's a person taking a picture from there. I just want you to notice it. And I want to tell you why I'm nervous. I told you I hold my sari like this. It's because Visha Uttup taught me no matter how well dressed you are, the cameraman always comes from this side. And and the only thing that comes out in a public photograph is your tummy hanging. So you wear it like this, so the pallu is seen beautifully, and when he takes the picture, doesn't see my tummy hanging. So just want you to notice that. So anyway, I come to India thinking I will bring TED to India, and so my point was the stories of India are not being told on a global stage in very well. Because my favorite saying is that the story will always be of the hunter until the lions start telling their stories. So in India, we are not telling our stories. For being a country of storytellers, we've done a pretty lousy job of telling our stories on a global stage. We have told the story of we are poor, we need money, we have cost arbitrage. These stories we told well. But the stories you're hearing this morning on the stage, we haven't told these on a global stage. So I thought, why not we bring TED to India? We do TED, we do like 50 stories online, and I could see TED was going to become really big, blah, 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 everything fantastic. I came here and I go to the first company and say, hi, I'm bringing TED to India. Why don't you write a check for $500,000? And they look at me and say, who is TED? Is it Ted Turner? The question is, where is the white guy who's called Ted? Who are you, little brown woman, talking about Ted? So I'm like, well, TED is actually a conference. It stands for Technology, Entertainment, Design. Now I'm realizing, oh my God, I'm really starting at the basics. But the point is, it took us, I thought in 1 month I could produce TED. It took me a year and a half to get everybody behind it, and we hosted the biggest TED they ever had here. And people from over 40 countries came, over 50 talks, people like Pranav Mistry, Devdutt Patnaik, Shashi Tharoor, they all became overnight global stars because they stood on the right stage. But the biggest thing that I learned is the power of the story and the power of the audience. So let me tell you, when I say what matters, I have to ask you a question. So 80 billion, what do you think this number represents? You're all a bunch of nerds. Somebody will guess. Okay, I don't have enough time, so I won't let you guess. 80 billion is the number of neurons that are in our little brain. This is 10 times the number of people that are going to be inhabiting this earth in 2023. That's how many neurons are there in our own brain. And the reason I'm able to stand here, talk, do all this is because they are all talking to each other. They are all networked. So the one thing that matters is networking. And the question is, what keeps us alive? What keeps us alive is this networking. But what does this networking mean? The first thing is that for this networking, you need to be genuine because somebody can smell a fake smile thousands of miles away. You be ugly, you be short, you be not well dressed, you be whatever, but your genuineness comes through everything. So we got to be genuine. If you're if you're whatever you are, if you're afraid, say you're afraid. If you're happy, say you're happy. Be a kid, nothing wrong. Be genuine. The second thing is understand the connection because sometimes you meet somebody, you can go on a great hike with them. Sometimes you meet someone, you can say, hey, let's do something together. Understand the power of that connection. And the very reason why I'm here today, because my friend Latika Pai had a party at her house, introduced me to Tammy. Tammy, little knowing that I mean what I say, said, hey, let's get together sometime. And that led to us dreaming this up and putting together all the friends we know on the stage for you. That's the power of a connection and collection, is understand the power of the connection. Because I may not be able to do alone what I can do, but with power of what Tammy has, we are able to bring 400 people here, and I get to tell the stories of people I care about, not by myself. That's the power of the connection. The other thing is you need to test the relationship. Relationship is not about somebody being nice to you all the time. They have to tell you when you're not doing the right thing. I've had people tell me, Lakshmi, that path you're going is not right for you. That's not you. And I was upset with them at that time. I walked away from those friendships. But that is the most important thing in a friendship. And the last thing is you need to sustain that relationship. Take the time to just enjoy with them with no, nothing, no ulterior motive. Just have a great time with them. Sustain that relationship. The bottom line is no guts, no glory. The guts are be genuine, understand the relationship, test the relationship, and sustain the relationship. I want to leave you with a couple of things from our nature. The first is a web. A spider's web is stronger than steel. And this is the relationship we need to nurture. It's not a tops down relationship anymore, it's a web relationship. You're at the center. How can you have people around you that can support you, sustain you, your team, your family, everybody? How can they sustain you? It's a web. It's a web that you need to think of. And the last thing I want to say, I want to leave you with a story. I will be 30 seconds over. The story is I was just reading in New York Times about sunflowers. And as you know, sunflowers, go toward the sun. And when it gets dark, they continue staying toward the sun, waiting for the sun to come back the next day. And at some point, when they're dying, they stay looking at the sun because the pollination starts happening. The birds, the bees that come pollinate, etc. And to me, when you find your sun, your purpose, just stay focused there till you die. And for me, what we are doing with Ink, the stories that we want to tell on a global stage, this is my purpose. So that's why whenever I go on stage, I need a little bit of ink with me. And notice that subtle branding. And and what is also important for me is that while in that purpose it may be cloudy, the sun has gone, sometimes it feels like life's at its end. It's okay. When you find your purpose, some pollinators will come and take your seeds for something much larger than you have imagined. So I need to end end by saying I want to thank you. Kamran is my friend, so always. I want to thank two people before I leave. This would not have happened. This whole thing wouldn't have come together, but for two people who have really, really worked hard on this, Ramya and Vipasha. I really want to thank the two of you for everything. And so I just want to say that there's a lot of fun you can have even when you get old. I started a column called 50 over 50 because I'm tired of 20 under 20, 30 under 30. What happens when you get to be 50? So be whatever you are, have fun. Thank you.